Okay, good morning traders. Welcome to the Bookmap All Markets webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap, and we're going to go through the live order
Good
flow
morning, traders.
using Bookmap. The goal here is to understand the behavior of the participants in the marketplace. We will understand their participation via the order flow. And how this makes sense in here, what order flow is about, is understanding how people are acting with their orders. That is the only thing that we have at our disposal to understand the market behavior. It truly is, and I'll show that in just a minute. How do people interact with the market? It is through their orders. Without orders, there is no market. Therefore, we want to understand the order flow, and this is what can help us get that insight to participants' behavior. So it gives an insight to where price might be going. We will look for those opportunities, and we will take them in sim, in demo paper trading mode. So we can also go through order management with our orders based on the behavior of others. Okay, so let's go through the disclosures. General disclosure: all Bookmap Limited materials, information, and presentations are for educational purposes only and should not be considered specific investment advice nor recommendations. Risk disclosure: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so let's jump in here, and we're looking at the S&P E-mini to begin with. Just bring down the volume dot size a little bit. There's a bunch of scalps and trades that I'm testing some things earlier this morning in here, but we will. So we're off, with some total P&L in here, but anyway, we'll go through some of the orders in here. And some of the opportunities in Bookmap. Yeah, so we just traded into some high liquidity in here. Okay, so now this algo in here, as you guys can see, okay, there's an algo, and it's the same, likely the same player every day at 8 a.m. Comes in here and provides this liquidity on 3 price levels. Okay, look at the current order book here. And see this white line in here? That is our large lot tracker. That means that, well, we see 300 and something orders here for these 3 levels. Likely somewhere around 200 is one individual actor. Okay, they have it on the offer up here, and they have it down here on the bid as well. Okay, so this is clearly a larger player, and we have identified them. And it has really screwed up the heat map for us here, because look at the heat map. Okay, we're missing that order flow behavior in here that of other players, and because it's being out or kind of blinded by the high liquidity of this one individual player. So right here, though, we're getting some insight. Though you can see that a slightly less strong heat map in here. You can see the color here, and then we see the transactions into that liquidity also here into this liquidity up here. So we can't really see it too well, but let's take a look at the Trader Map Pro, where we can filter that out of the picture here. I've got a few different Trader Map Pros here, but this is the one in particular. And look at the heat map here. Okay? It gives us a very different story of what's happening. Okay, so for example, we can see that high liquidity that we're just looking at in here. It traded here, and we can see a little bit of it trading here. Now look at the bid. The bid is pretty strong here. Okay, so now we're trading into some of this liquidity, but the bid is strong. Okay, so I'm still looking for price exploration up into this liquidity up here. Right, so now we're getting a bit of a pullback in here. Let's take a look. Okay, And we haven't even looked at our higher time. Well, we can't trade off of the Trader Map Pro at this point. We're working on that though. Okay. Maybe we'll get a bit more of a pullback here. Anyway, let's take a look here. And on the regular chart, and you can see the distinction in here. We can't see how strong that bid was, yeah, it's kind of annoying, as you guys know. But anyway, this is the true order flow. In fact, we have all the details on this guy, this one individual actor. Here's where they came in the market. Okay. Usually I see them a bit early, right before 8 o'clock. This time they came in after 8 o'clock and switched on their algo. And what is this algo doing? Well, it's very simply following the market here, and it's a stacker algo. It's a queuing, position in queue algo. So they'll show liquidity here. And it's their position in the queue, and then what happens is when this moves or they pull it, then they'll pull it from one area and add it to the front of the line in here. They're trying to position themselves, and they want to get filled before others. So that's the goal. So when price comes up to their area where they want to trade, they are going to be first in line. Okay, now for us, if we're not up here like way earlier, like in another area where there's a lot less liquidity, if we're not up there earlier before they come in, we're going to be at the end of the line every time, because this algo is working their position in queue. And that is the edge that it is getting in here. And that's why they're using it. So at a certain point, they will turn the algo off and stay in the order book and get filled. Okay, and continue to add a little bit here, a little bit there, etc. So whatever their goal or aim is, perhaps it's hedging. Maybe they have a huge options position. It doesn't matter. We just need to know if they're getting filled or not, and their activity in here. You can see this liquidity in here remains here at this 69 level right here. So, and also a little bit here remaining in the order book here. Okay, so it's getting interesting. Anyway, so let's take a step back here, look at our bigger picture, and start to understand the order flow. We had PPI this morning, so we can also go through our top-down process here. Just a minute, and I will show it. Okay. Yeah, PPI better than expected, and market is reacting. You can see the data was here at 8:30, and the knee-jerk reaction was clearly to the downside. Note where it goes: high liquidity that stays in the order book. Okay, that's what we mean by when I started off the webinar. That's what I mean by understanding the behavior in the order flow. Look how they're pulling. See this area in here? You can see it. One algo kind of reacting to the next, to the next, to the next. They start pulling as the 8:30 moment approaches. Okay? This guy stayed in here for a little bit and then pulled, okay? And then came back in after the data release here. But look who stayed in the order book. Okay? Here, they stayed. They transacted, big red dot, into their limit buy orders. These guys, they stayed in the order book, and that's where price went and started to transact into that high liquidity. Okay, so this is how the market works. This is just a great example of understanding trader behavior in the order book. Okay, it's a very stark, simple, and raw example of how volatility works in a thin market. Okay? When they start to pull liquidity, but those that remain in the order book, will sellers meet the buyers down in these areas here. Okay, as simple as that. Transactions take place. There's no more sellers or a lack of aggressive sellers. They don't trade through this 5620 21 level. We start to find some buyers, and then the order book kind of shifts and changes in here after the data, and we can start to see the behavior come back in. This player comes back in again just after or right around 8:31, a minute after the release. Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, let's continue to take a look here and see what's going on. Also, let me see if there's any questions anyone has to begin with. On. No. Okay. Good. And what about over here in Discord? Good morning, Caesar. Yeah, there was something. I think Dan, you'd reach out to Dan if you needed to reach out to me about some things. Yeah, just feel free. All right. Let's see. All right, our bigger picture. Okay. And our trading journal as well. Let me turn some of these things on. And this was just a simple plan put together, preparation plan, top-down approach. Fundamentals, know the economic calendar. We already covered that. The geopolitical environment. Well, there's a lot of things always going on there, but there's nothing really right now pressing on the market. And that's what we want to know. So technicals, bigger picture as well. Let's take a look, and we're going to start with the daily and hourly and 15-minute. So here's our daily chart over here. Look at this, just beautiful flag continuation pattern in here. So we were trading earlier in the week, and we were looking for the big move that happened on the 10th. Okay, so on Wednesday, this is what I kept looking for, and we just, had really a couple. They were up days, but it was really back and forth in those days in here. And then we see the move to the upside, and then yesterday we saw the move right back down, and today look at it, right back up. We're above the 50% level. In fact, of this kind of big move in here. Pretty wicked move up in here, above the swing all-time highs, 5,700, and then total rejection, and then a move right back down. Okay, so yeah, it's getting pretty interesting up in here. And let's take a look at the hourly. You can see the gap fill in here, a beautiful gap fill, gapped up from the previous day. And that was the big move to the upside here. And then this little gap in here on the hourly filled yesterday, okay, on the move right back down. And then you can see the move right back up. Now, what is the hourly telling us? Well, these are kind of the areas I'm interested in, actually, is the swing here from yesterday on the hourly right here at around 64 or so. And then some of these little areas in here where it kind of slowed down before one more push to the upside. So what's the order flow like in here is what we really want to know. And you can see it in here on the 15-minute chart. Okay, so we can see that some back and forth in here, back and forth, still to the upside, and then one nice big push here to the upside. Actually a couple. And this is where we've come back now to retest here. Okay, now what do we know from this in here? Okay, pose the question to you guys. So what do you think in here? Momentum wise, levels wise, what about today? The gap has not been filled today. I mean, it kind of has, but it kind of hasn't. Technically, it has not. It's a little bit lower here at 39, it looks like. But anyway, we see the what I see at least is I still see strong momentum here on the buy side. Okay, so this candle here, pretty green, pretty big. Now, what about ATR? We always look at how much fuel is in the gas tank. And in order flow terms, what we mean, instead of using an analogy, is how many buyers are in here, how far can they take it before they need to take a break, before they start to exhaust out, before they start to find sellers, and then the back and forth begins between the kind of battle between buyers and sellers. So in terms of ATR, it's not bad actually. If we look at these kind of candles in here, this is what, from 18 on up to about 67. Or let's say 18 to 68, so 50 points. That's a pretty decent move in the S&P E-mini. If you look at all these other candles in here, that's not bad, right? Maybe some of these are bigger, some are smaller. We want to understand, is there some limit sell? Are there some limit sell orders up here? Are we starting to exhaust out of some of these buyers? Are we hitting some levels like this swing up here? Start to understand the behavior up here in the order flow. Because maybe we get a small pullback. We would always assume that. We always look for that small pullback like this. Now, looking at the 15-minute chart, where might it go? Well, maybe down to about here, around 61 or so. And then we'll take a look here. We don't have a whole lot of data in here either. We'd have to break it down into maybe a 5-minute and take a look. But we don't have to. We can look at Bookmap and understand what's happening around this, maybe this 60 level here. Okay, but nonetheless, we still have strong buyers, and we need to see if there's more buyers interested in coming in. A small pullback, it would be expected, especially above some swings here. All right, so that's the kind of longer or higher time frame analysis. Here's our pullback, okay? And look where it went, down into some of these swings, and now we see the buyers come right back in, right? So let's see if we can get maybe another pullback to about here, let's see if we get maybe the order flow. We start to see more buyers on the bid in here, and then we can look for exhaustion on the sell side, and then we look for a retest back up to here maybe, or maybe continuation on the buy side, right? So there's some trade ideas for us, and then we're going to look at the order flow and the criteria in the order flow to give us that setup, that opportunity. It is the criteria that makes it objective for us. Okay, so if we look at, we've gone through the some of the scenarios in here. We just covered that, and then consider our strategies and setups and our criteria. Okay? And then once we're in the trade, we look at our trade management criteria as well. Okay, so now we got a bit of a pullback here. Is that enough? Right? Are we finding buyers here? Yeah, a little bit, but the bid doesn't look too strong to me. So maybe we'll find sellers, bash it around a little bit further. Maybe they'll come back down a little bit lower and test some other areas here. So that's what I see at the moment. Let me see if there's any questions. No. All right. Yeah, nothing at the moment here. Okay, so would love to see maybe back down into this level in here as a pullback, maybe even down to here as a pullback. Okay, we're not getting it. Now we can look for, yeah, that our original scenario in here was a pullback, and then see if we get more buyers in here. So we are getting more buyers now. They just traded into this high level of liquidity here though at 69, and maybe they maybe that's all there is on the buy side here at the moment. We'll see. If we come back up and retest, see a little bit still auctioning here. Okay, that might turn into a trap there if we get our sellers. Okay, sellers, let's see if they can now try to move it back down to the bottom of the range here, maybe a bit further. Okay, because here's our criteria at least. Now it's not, I don't think it's very strong, but this is what we have. Buyers coming up, okay, small pullback into high liquidity up in here, not finding buyers, starting to find some sellers. Again, here's a little bit of exhaustion in here. We don't find buyers up here. We're finding sellers here. So let's see the sellers try to attack the bottom of this range here, or maybe a little bit further. Okay, back down into this little area here that we kind of outlined earlier. Okay, so that's what we'd be looking for, right? So bottom of this range to begin with at 67, and then maybe down to this 65 3/4. Okay, so we got our sellers down to 67 already, and then we can see we're bouncing back up. All right, well, now is that enough? Was that enough for the sellers? We kind of exhausted out here. We don't see a lot of selling down here. We're not seeing a lot of anything in here. Good morning, morning, Stephen. Okay, lack of buyers again. Okay, a bit of a bid. I'm sorry, a bit of an offer in here. All right, here comes some selling here. Now it's still just bashing around in this very, very small range in here. So we're not getting too much out of it. Very tight little range in here. As long as only like 1.5 wide. Maybe, yeah, maybe, I'm sorry, 2 points. All right, so here we go. Here's our retest back up here, lack of buyers. Now we're starting to find those sellers. Now, question is, we're back down to the bottom of this range in here. And are we going to find some sellers? And I can't speak quite fast enough. We're not. We're getting buyers right back up in here. So now I would look for buyers to try to explore higher, okay, into 70 and maybe a couple points more, right? Now, what kind of criteria do we have for that? Well, we have the rejection down here, and we have some buyers up in here. But do we have a strong bid? Not really. It's starting to show maybe a little bit more activity in here. Okay, so if that is the case, then let's see if we can maybe look for buyers back up here. Okay, and we really need to see them come back in here. And if we do, then we have the possibility for the move higher. And we're not seeing them yet. I'm going to put a poll out there. Who uses the dome? Anyone trading from the dome? Let's try it over here in YouTube. Missing this. Just as I'm writing this, I turn away. All right, there we go. And do you trade from it too? Is another one. Oh, that's really unfortunate. Just as soon as I put in that that question, that we see what we're looking for here. Let's see. So if I look back in hindsight here, well, this is, or try to be fair about this. We saw the move up in here into that liquidity. We're looking for the move back down. We got that. We saw this move up in here and this kind of exhaustion here, and sellers in here. Again, we're looking for this move down, but they came right back up and buyers up in here. So now at this point, we're thinking, okay, we found some buyers. Now they have the potential to move this and explore it higher. So we're looking for it. We don't see it. It just, price just kind of dribbled off here until they came back up in here. Okay, now we're starting to see it. Okay, so the criteria, and we wanted a bid too, to show some interest, and you can kind of faintly see it in here, some of the bid coming in here. Now I'm going to filter the heat map. Maybe we can see it a little bit better, but we'll certainly see it over in Trader Map Pro, where the bid will look stronger, and you can see it here already. You don't even have to zoom in. They're on the bid in here. Okay, and that helped lead to this move to the upside. All right. So anyway, let's take a look again, and let's try to filter for this in the heat map. I'll just right click in here, go to heat map settings, and maybe this will help. Let's just try it for kicks here. Yeah, so what I did was I lowered the cutoff here. So that means that these orders with less liquidity in here are kind of equal to, they make the cutoff here. Therefore we can see some of this higher, or this is lower liquidity in here, but is kind of now being equalized to the liquidity up in here. So it'd be kind of like if you're a photographer, and you want to get brightness out of the picture. Pick the brightest area, and then make, or I'm sorry, to make it equally bright. Pick the brightest area, and then now scale it, as that's not the brightest area anymore. There's a lower cutoff. So we've lowered that upper range of the brightness. So these areas in here now are going to show up as being bright. Okay, so now we're getting some insight from that. Pretty good. All right, so we see a bit more in here on the offer. Now the question is, are we getting our buyers taking these guys on? And we are. You can see them starting to take it on in here. Now this is getting interesting in here, because look at the single prints in here. Let's see if we can get this as a possible fake breakout, and a trap and a move back down. Okay, now we don't see anything even remotely similar to that at the moment. We're just seeing buyers come in. Okay, they took on all of that liquidity, and we see a stop run here also to the upside. Okay, so what we're looking for now we're getting some sellers. All right, now we're looking to see if we can get sellers to trade from about here on down. Okay, and then fill in this area in here. Okay, well, what do we have in the order book? Well, we have the offer up here. We know that they got filled in here. We're getting the retracement back to where they got filled in here. Okay, and we're still not seeing the sellers in here to look for a short at this point. And it would be a short-lived opportunity anyway. We're just looking for it to come back down into the swing here, or maybe down into this swing here at 70. And that's where we had our breakout. Okay, more liquidity trading. It looks like a lot of you guys do not use the DOM. We've only got a few votes in there. If you're a DOM user, go support it. Because I was going to maybe demo the DOM if we had some support in there by DOM traders. I mean, the beauty of Bookmap is that you don't really, need the DOM. And we've got it here in the COB column, current order book. This is your liquidity. Okay, so here it is. So you have that information, and we've turned it into a heat map form, so that you can see the not only in the current market here with current best bid and offer and the transactions here, okay, but you can see it historically, and that's where the DOM can't show you that. Okay, look at the bid here. This looks pretty good for a continuation move here to the upside. Pretty strong bid underneath after trading through that high liquidity. All right, trading into it here. Strong bid still, so still looking for buyers to try to push this. All right, let's see if we get some sellers on the other side here. And if we can, then, and it doesn't look like it, we still see this strong bid here. Still strong. So it looks like 80 is probably the next level. Okay, a bit of an offer starting to come in. No, bid is still strong. All right, I'm going to jump over here and I'm going to show the Dome Pro product for you guys. That 17%. Back here, let me take this and scoot it over, and then we can take a look at Dome Pro here. Just a minute. Okay. Okay, well, here's your DOM. And see this darker area here on the offer and on the bid? That relates to that larger player, those 300 plus orders in here. That we think that that player has like at least 200 or so, something like that. And it's showing high liquidity in here compared to the relative book, right? So you can look at that in here and start to understand your DOM that way. Now, this is the offer, this is the bid. Okay, same thing that we're looking at here. Here's the offer, here's the bid. Now, what DOM, or your typical DOM, this is a little bit fancier DOM than your typical one. You have the aggressor trades in here hitting the bid. Okay, these are sellers, and then these are the aggressive buyers over here lifting the offer, and then in here is your last transaction. Okay, so it's last trade quantity is what it is. So if we start to see this relationship in context in here is exactly what we've been talking about for quite a while in these webinars, is context, understanding the bid, the offer, the aggressors, and then the here and the now with the last transactions, and get if price is ready to move. And we can start to look at these areas in here and look at that same context, but it's numerical. And note that you really have to pay attention in here because it changes very quickly. And then once that change is made, then we don't have any more information on it. You have to act on that information immediately, basically. So you have to really, keep an eye on this. Whereas in Bookmap, you can zoom out. Here you can see this high liquidity just transacting up in here. And then, we'd be looking to see if, maybe there's a strong offer and some sellers come in. And you can see nothing of the type. In fact, it's the opposite. Okay, so the bid is starting to push and we're still finding buyers. Okay, well, do we see that in the DOM? Not really. I'm not seeing it. I'm just looking at the aggressors in here, and there's a bit of selling in here actually. Recent selling here, but you can look for the same kinds of things that we're looking for in the heat map and the dots here in context as in the DOM. Right. So for example, all right, well here we go. Now we're starting to find some sellers. Okay. Well, let's see how those sellers doing. Where might it go? Well, maybe down to this liquidity here, right in here, right? And there it is. There, it already moved into there. All right. Well, are they back? Yeah. The high liquidity is here at 78.50 here. Okay. So in fact, maybe if you're you're DOM trader, you're like, maybe I'll be a buyer there. This is where there's other buyers, and I'm lined up with them. I'll be a buyer there. You can put your order in. If you move it around in here as well, it will move around on the Bookmap chart, as you can see there. Okay. Okay. Now you can trade right off of the DOM in here as well. The functionality is different than it is trading from the Bookmap chart. Okay, so this is how the rest of the DOMs work as well. Right clicking in here, it will if it's below price, you can see that it is a stop. Okay, so that would be a sell stop. If it's triggered, then I would be short. If I left click in here, it'll be a market sell. Okay, in the blank area here. Okay, if I left click up here, it'd be a market buy in the blank area here. If I left click in here, it'll be a limit buy. All right, and you can see one limit. You can right click on here and it would cancel the order. So that's how it works. Okay, pretty straightforward. You can also use your brackets, but you'll have to use the trade control panel over here to utilize your brackets. Okay, so let's cancel this order. Now you can also flatten or cancel all here. Let's zoom out. Let's look at our bigger picture in here, and we missed that move to the upside, and pretty nice move here, and we were looking at right around here 65, and it was kind of bouncing around after trading up above 65 in here. The scenario we're looking for, we missed, and we know exactly when we missed it. It was right in here. Yeah, it was right in here, and this was it right in here when I put the poll in, which is kind of annoying, but anyway, let's all right, let's take a look here. Okay, we just traded high liquidity up here. There's some exhaustion, bit of selling. I'm not convinced yet that's it. The bid is still pretty strong here. Let's see, Stephen, if I understand your how do you separate two orders? You cannot. Once you move them on top of the other, you'll have to cancel them both. That's what I've seen so far. Yeah, right click on the order. Exactly. Alois is amazing. Like it's like it's almost he knows the product as well as anyone at Bookmap, or and even better. Yeah, Shark, I know it can be. I'm so accustomed to it, and I love trading from the Bookmap chart. And I just remember always that depends on where you are. Here, the functionality is different than your traditional DOM. Your functionality is like if you right click in here or left click in here, it's always going to be a buy. No matter where you are, it's always going to be a buy. If you right click, it'll always be a sell. Okay, so yeah, that's where it can be confusing between the DOM and the Bookmap chart. But once you understand that and just follow that rule, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to buy, I'm trying to sell. Then just remember, left clicking is always a buy. Now, if you left click your and below price, it's going to be a limit. Okay, you can use your center mouse wheel to cancel, or you can cancel here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, new buyers. There's a bit of a stop run here, not much though. New buyers taking this higher here. Okay, and the bid is back a little bit. If you hold the shift key down and right click, so if I right click below here, this is going to be a market sell immediately, right? But if you hold the shift key down and then right click, it'll be your sell stop. Okay, so make sure you come over here and you can see your order type, your duration, your stop order type. Make sure it's market. Okay? Unless you want to use a limit, okay, because you can, but I really highly recommend you keep an eye on that. Make sure that it is market, and then your stop order duration as well, good till cancel, or whatever it is that you'd like to choose. Yeah, yeah. Trader is the go-to guy if you have a question. Yeah, thank you, much appreciated. I don't know. I mean, it didn't take me long to get accustomed to that. Every now and then, we all make trading mistakes with order entries, no matter what, is what I've always kind of found. But uh, anyway, yeah, I really like the bookmap trading from the chart. I find it extremely easy. All right, let's see if we're going up toward any higher time frame levels. We still continue to go here. And yesterday's close, or I'm sorry, open, we're just kind of up to it. So maybe that will have some sort of an effect here. It's just a bummer. Like, you know, we kind of covered this huge move right here. If you didn't capture it down here, it's, yeah, you can weave into it somehow one way or another, but it's difficult. It's challenging. The We turned our head away to put in a poll, and then missed the move here. And this is what we were looking for, was some of this buying up in here, and back up to the top of the range in here, after the move back down, retesting here, and then we thought maybe we get buyers in here. Nope, we got buyers here. Okay, that's where we're actually looking for the move. It pulled back one more time. We got buyers again here, and that's when we're looking for it. Especially because the profile starts to build up. This area here, it starts to build up. Let's just take a look here, and I put this kind of within our range. Okay. Actually, it doesn't. The profile is not giving you much information on that, to be honest. But you can visually see it though, with the transactions in here. Yeah, profile doesn't really give you too much. It's pretty equal, pretty spread out. We did talk about this a little bit yesterday. We talked about it was kind of interesting. I don't know why I was talking about profile so much in the Bookmap Academy meeting, but you know, here's your trending day, right? And look at the profile. You know, you see a bump, low volume node, you know, followed by build up, high volume node, low volume node, and note that, you know, most of them are kind of taking place in the middle, the high volume node. And we noted that yeah, yesterday, like, sometimes it's either usually in the middle or maybe toward the upper end, and then it tapers off and does the same. I mean, kind of like this one here. But we don't really see any sort of bias in here for a trend, but that's what a trend profile looks like. Okay, all these volume nodes like this, right? And this was to D&T Matter, and giving feedback on a very challenging day yesterday. At the near the end of the day, the profile was bullish, and he's looking for pullbacks and continuing short though, right? So it really has to, you really have to look for more of the trap then, or the, you know, those sellers to come in. So let's look here. So for example, here's a pullback here, and let's see if maybe the sellers want to take it down a little bit more into this lower level here. Okay, let's see. Now let's see if it rejects down there. Right, so we're going to put an order in, and actually I'm going to cancel that and put on brackets. Actually, let's do this. I am going to use the new multi brackets here in Sim. Okay, I've already got it all configured and everything, and we'll use that if we get back down here. Okay, so that's the if part. Oh, hey, D&T, so you're in here. Okay, great. How come I don't see you in here? That's really odd. Ah, you're on YouTube. Okay. Guys over on YouTube, if you want to come over to the, yeah, I'm going to end the poll as well. If you want to come over to the Discord channel, I highly recommend it. The discussion is much more in depth there, and we go through quite a bit in about many different things in the market. Yeah, so you might want to come over here. We have multiple events every day. All right, D&T, let's go over so your trade idea in here. Now we just kind of missed a bit of a strong book there, skewing the auction a bit, but and the market pulled right back to it here. So I'd still look for sellers to try to, yeah, there we go. There's our move down lower. All right, so now let's see, right? We'd be looking for the rejection down here. And we're going to get caught up in this. I can just have the feel for it. I just saw some high liquidity come in. So likely now, then sellers are going to try to push it down to the next level down here. Okay. Let's see though. We'll see if that strong bid comes back in and comes back up to top of this range here. Now that's where I would like to take some profit. Okay? And in fact, let's do it on a smaller time frame in here for more of a scalp. And look at high volume nodes, okay, and tops of ranges, etc. All right, so that we can take a look at it. Now we really kind of, well, I don't know, I shouldn't say that. There's a bit of a bid here, but the offer is a little different now, right? So we can see them coming down on the offer here. That's a little different behavior than we've seen earlier. Okay, so we're still finding buyers though, and we're still finding a bit of a bid. So what I would be looking for then is, I'm not necessarily looking for a breakout of the range or trend continuation at this time. I know that there's selling interest now. Okay, so maybe just some back and forth in here, bashing back around in this range in here for a little bit. Therefore, the way that I am managing the trade is to take profits up at the tops of the ranges or high volume nodes. That's all I'm looking for in this move here. right? I'm not necessarily looking for a trend continuation at this time. Okay, so and there we go. Okay, so we scaled out 1, 2, 3. Now, I know it's not much of a move. It's only a few points from 81 and a half on up, 82 and a quarter, 82 and a quarter, 83, 83 and a half. So, a couple points. But that was the trade idea. And we were a little unsure after seeing this offer come down here. But then because we saw that offer come down here, that's where I'm not looking for the breakout at this time. I'm looking for some back and forth in here. And, we might be wrong. In fact, we're still seeing strong buyers in here, right? But anyway, that was the trade idea, and that was the trade management behind that idea. Any questions on that? I mean, we go through these things really quickly in here, and we didn't even have time to kind of manage the stops. We went right into like, okay, now what's the idea? Where are we looking for it, etc. And we use the new, which guys, you should play around with this, the new multi-brackets in sim here. We've had it for like a year or so, but it was not in sim mode. Okay, we are trading in sim. In the lower right hand corner, you can see it here, right? So the multi-bracket now works in sim. We just launched it. I hear you, Stephen, and you say on Friday you do not trade. That's fine. You know that about yourself. You know that you're probably Fridays can be really odd for a number of reasons. End of the week, and yeah, I totally understand. I would suggest though that look at some ideas and casually maybe trade in sim. Test some of your ideas. Like we just went through this idea in here, looking for a bottom of the range, and then looking for rejection of that, and then back to the top of the range. In fact, our top of the range we were just looking for here. What it did was that it just kind of pierced the top of the bigger range here, or the swing up here, and that has been it so far. Okay. Now let's take a look at this though. This might turn into a flag pattern. The bid looks pretty strong here. Okay, so let's see if we well, we're just kind of missing it. There's an offer here though, and they're not pulling yet. Oh boy, it's hard too. Like I want to look at Trader Map Pro again. Let's jump over there, and let's see what we can get. Yeah, see the offer in here. So our bid, we were just kind of looking in this area in here as the stronger bid. But what about that offer? And they're kind of staying here, kind of pulling a little bit, as you can see, kind of transacting in there. A little bit different behavior than earlier. Okay, now they're pulling. Now we're getting buyers here. So buyers should be able to take it up into higher areas here. Trade up to this 86 3/4. Yeah. Sorry, Rob, missed the flag pattern there, but it was a nice one. So flag within a flag. Not really. So no, here's our impulse move. Here's our pullback, and then we were looking for it mentioned that impulse move and then kind of shied away because of the offer. And a little bit of lack on the bid. But there it is. It's a beauty. You know, see a little back and forth. And then this one is likely very much the same move in terms of points as this one. And yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Settings for TraderMap Pro. Yeah, we can go over that. Let's see, what do I have here? Let's go back in. TraderMap Pro. So the setting I have for it here, now these are the two price inversions up here. This is the orders change or unchanged filter right here. Yeah, I just use that here. I'll create a new one so you see it. Just hit the create, hit add, go to filter, order change filter, and then I just take it from changed to not changed because I want to show orders that were not changed. Okay, because see these in here, they change price levels. So you can filter by price level or by size. Actually, let's go for just price level. This one down below was price and size. Instead we're just going to go with price, and we're going to look at the difference here between the two. I created it over here. Here's my other order flow change filter. All right, interesting. Yeah, I was not anticipating the continuation move after that due to the reasons we mentioned. It looked like some back and forth in here. We got our position at the bottom of the range, took them all off, went to the top of the kind of a little bit bigger range, pulled back, and then we got our continuation, and then we didn't take the continuation move either. I didn't have enough criteria to justify the continuation move. All right, let's take a look at that filter in here. Okay, so, and then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drop that into another window, and we'll take this one, which is price and size, and then we'll hit the sync button here, synchronize our charts. Okay, so they'll both show the same time frame. All right. So there's this one. Zoom. And let's see this one here. Okay, so it looks pretty similar. Little different. Not much though. Here's the other one by just price, right? Not by size. So if the size didn't change, then you don't have to filter or show. Yeah, so it looks pretty similar, right? So it got the bulk of it here, and you can see the remnants in here. Maybe there's a little bit more in this one here by just price only. Yeah. All right, coming up to this 690-ish area here. Let's look at our higher time frame again. And yeah, I still have room to run here. There's that little bit of slowdown we were just talking about up into here, which makes good sense to me. We're going to have some volume up in here from yesterday, and pre-market in here, yeah, we're just trading kind of up into, usually if there's a high volume node, or just a lot of trading activity up in here, trading up to the edge of it, you'll see a lot of profit taking, or maybe limit sell orders up in these areas here. We've gone through it, but the next level I would be looking for is like on a higher time frame. I'd be kind of looking for a high volume node, and it's probably likely in the middle here someplace. But if we still see buyers in here, then we're still looking for a continuation to the open yesterday around 92. All right, another thing, as you guys can see, the way we filtered the Trader Map Pro, well, we filtered the regular chart in here. Just right click in here, go to heat map settings, and the upper cutoff area. Okay, so what that means, again, with upper and lower cutoff, if I take it all the way here to almost all the way to the right, it's just going to show the high liquidity in here, and then filter out the rest. In fact, look at these areas are yellow in here. They're not even that high in the heat map. As we know, red and orange is the highest. Okay, so in fact, here, let me close this for a minute and I'll just brighten it up. Okay, and just right click in here, go to heat map settings, and then if I bring it all the way up, note how these areas in here, they're very faint, right? Look at the heat map, red, orange, very high liquidity, yellow, white, blue, and then black the least. Okay, well, why is that? Well, because I just filtered out anything except for the highest liquidity, basically, and it's up in here. Okay, and there might be some other slight little areas in here that are red. It looks like it to me, and that's the highest liquidity. Everything else is scaled from that, right? That's how it works. Now, if I bring down that cutoff, I'm saying like it doesn't have to be like 300 and something contracts here for it to be red. Okay? If I bring it all the way back down, I can, and it's only 20% range in here for that upper cutoff percentage. But I'm saying, like, even if it's like 180 or 198 in here, it can still be red. Okay, it still can be high liquidity. That is the threshold. Everything at 190, 198 or above will be red, basically. All right, so that's the way it works. These are the sliders in here. So you might want to play around with that. You can use exact size in here to illustrate the point. Now I just put in exact size and it defaulted to 1 in here, but let's put in 200. Okay, so anything at liquidity of 200 or above, it will be this red or orange color. Okay, so look at these other areas in here, like 125, 130. All right, let's bring it down to like 110. Okay, and look how everything in here now is red or orange. Okay, you can see the highest liquidity up here. That's because it is the lowest amount. It's lower than anything else in the book here, except for maybe the best bid or offer in here. Okay, so let's bump it up then. Okay, let's go with 150. What does that look like? Okay, anything less than 150 will be then scaled. Anything more than 150 will be scaled to the high liquidity in here. Okay, it's the same idea with the sliders. It's just you have an easier way to kind of filter here. All right, that's it. All right, so I'll bring down the brightness. Okay, now the same with the on the other end with the heat map filter. Okay, so if I right click, go to heat map settings in here for lower cutoff. And let's bring up the brightness again, and then lower cutoff. So anything lower than these areas in here, we're going to be filtering out. Okay, so if I bring that slider up, see how like 148 or 130 in here. If I bring it up above a certain area in here, it just filters it out completely. Right? So let's just use that example. Let's go with 140. Okay, anything less than 140 in the order book in here is going to be dark. Right? So it's another way to filter it. Play around with it. The settings to get what you want. Okay? You should be able to find something that should help you with this player in here. And the only reason that you would do that instead of using TraderMap Pro is, well, number one, if maybe you don't have the MBO bundle which includes TraderMap Pro. If that's the case, play around with these sliders, or maybe you're trading from the chart. So if you're trading from the Bookmap chart, you got to trade off of this heat map here. Okay, so let's go to restore, and then we can play with the sliders again. Okay, bring down that cutoff, upper cutoff. All right, let's see what's happening here. All right, so order flow wise. All right, so we were kind of looking for a bit of a slowdown, and then we saw this flag pattern in here. Now we have a big cluster up here, and we've traded below it. Okay, it's trading back down to the other value area down here. All right, interesting. All right, so maybe we'll get a bounce here. Let's take a look. And let's look for an opportunity. And let me, I think I might take the multi-brackets off. And we'll just use one bracket. And let me see if there's any questions over on YouTube. We got some action over there. Hector. All right, good morning. Waiting to buy a desktop to join. Okay, great. Waiting for water. Okay. Based on your experience, large dog tracker. Well, the large lot tracker in here is showing this isn't really a spoof at all. It's the same player. Highly likely the same player, the same amount of orders on the offer as on the bid for 3 different price levels in here, and they just want to get filled at a certain level, but it's positioning themselves in the queue. This is the Global Plus subscription that I'm using. I have additional add-ons like order book imbalance or volume imbalance. I've also got other add-ons in here with stops and icebergs, etc. The heat map, there's a couple different things to change in here in the heat map. You can go with the black and white. You can go with the orange as being the high liquidity, or you can go with red as being high liquidity in here. This is the default. I just go with the default. I like it. I just dim it about halfway, and that's good for me. Let's see, Daryl, you just got a $20 subscription, but wasn't aware of a 15-minute time delay. Okay, so you need to get data with it, and so it sounds like the $20 version, it must be the digital plus version, right, Daryl? If so, then that will only connect with crypto. Okay, but you can have up to 20 different crypto instruments. All right, guys, we're coming up on European close time, and we'll be ending the webinar shortly. At this time, we know there's a lot of volatility typically, and some weird price action. So we're going to kind of hold off on any opportunities. We missed a few opportunities, which was a real shame. God, if we had seen it, we could have maybe even demoed holding on to. We probably wouldn't, but demoed trying to hold on for a runner, and it would have been a good one because you know, the next levels are up in here really, that you'd be looking for, and that's where it's going. But I was looking for a slowdown or, you know, something in here, and we did get a little bit of a pullback. You can see on this candle in here, and that's when we were looking for that breakout, and it was missed. God, it's a killer. Anyway, we talked about some other opportunities. We took one, and then we managed it a very specific way as well. There was another one in here. We didn't have enough criteria for it, but that's what we were looking for, this kind of continuation move here. Strong move. It's a kind of an odd one, Rob, I'll be honest in here, because where's the impulse move, the pullback impulse move? That looks all good. But, you know, it's really the fuel in here that we're looking at. It's actually more of a... I'm maybe drawing it to fit. So let's put it this way, because you know, you can say it's a flag pattern, but maybe it's a bit of BS. We want to look at the consolidation in here. This is the fuel for the move, right? That's what we want to understand. That you know, it's the positioning in here that lead to the move. And this is what we want to look at for that flag pattern. That's what we covered in the Learning Center about the flag pattern. Okay, so so it's not really correct or the correct thing we're looking for. In fact, all it is a single impulse move. The pure flag would have been this being the impulse move, this being the pullback, and then another impulse move. Okay, so we're not getting that. It's just kind of accepted up here, and then it's back down into this area here, into this whole zone or value area down here. Okay, so we're trying to understand, like, some of these areas of acceptance, rejection based on the order flow, order book, the transactions, and the price structure. Yeah, and not seeing much in here at the moment. One thing, maybe we'll kind of note, first off, guys, if you like this video, please hit the like button, give us a like. That always helps us. We're going to continue to, this quarter, build out more education stuff for you guys and meet your needs. The one thing I would say is highly recommend just jump over to the Discord channel, get involved in the community. You're going to get a lot more out of it than you will over just on YouTube. Okay, YouTube is great, love it. It's very convenient, etc. But yeah, come over to the Discord channel, and there's all sorts of streamers. Like right after this one, Tom B. He will go over volume profile and trading. And right after that, we'll have Doug. We have a whole lineup of traders. Yeah, Hector, it sounds like you need to get your watch too many videos. Yeah. Oh, that's really great that you're mentioning this for practice. There's a lot of new things that we have. We have our trading journal in here. You can make journals in here for practice, real trading. You know, make here's one for Tino's competition that I added in here. I did a test in here, different tests and etc. You know, so you can filter for your journal, your trades. You can filter for your instruments. You can filter for your date and times in here. You can see it always kind of defaults to 1 month by when I open it up, and it'll give you my current month P&L in here. These were some of the trades like during the webinar last week. You know, we had some, or I had some poor performance on that, and then it turned around, and it was the same day on the 9th here, but in the afternoon. And what was that? What was that trade? I'll show you, because it was actually NVIDIA down here, and I went long 200 shares in here, and netted about $1,000. Went against me a bit, as you can see, but you know, overall, pretty good trade. I think there was another one was even better. Yeah, here's a few other NVIDIAs in here that were taken. And what I wanted to mention in here was, like, psychologically, you know, trading from the chart. Now, you know, okay, trading in front of others as well. It doesn't really bother me too much, but it bothers me when I know better, and I make mistakes. What we talked last time about it, and it's like, okay, you know, I just had a string of losses, and then how does that affect me, and what am I going to do about it? As you guys know, I mean, I try to keep it very, very simple with the trader psychology. No matter what it is, the question for me is, can I trade correctly? Can I take the trade? Can I manage the trade? If I don't, and there's something wrong there, I won't do it. Okay, and that's that. Now, what helps me the most is like today, I had some winners in the morning, and then I had a winner during this webinar in here. That builds confidence. Okay, so now I feel a little bit better, and I know that about myself. Like, you know, it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm back on my feet a little bit. Okay, so now, and how that allows me to trade better. And every time I become overconfident, I start making mistakes. So if I'm overconfident, I need to kind of relate to that and say, like, okay, and the way that so when my confidence is blown, what do? I need to take a step back, kind of reset, build the confidence back with a good trade. Now, how do I do that? Okay, now, just a little trader psychology, because the markets, the European close, and it's time for me to go here. But how do I do that? The way that I do that is to wait for a good setup. And that helps me build that confidence. It's really funny, the solution for that's when I have a lack of confidence after a string of losses. So it's like, no, I know what I'm doing. I've studied this. I know my setups. Just wait for a good one. All right. And then be objective about it. And did you have a loss for another good setup? Okay, maybe you did. Well, maybe start trading a little less then. You know, ease into it. But it is your setup. Okay, you will get a winner back if you follow your rules and your criteria, because these are the probabilities. So now, the funny thing is, for me at least, and this trader psychology stuff, you know, it's like your trading setups. You'll have to develop it for yourself, whatever works for you. it's going to be different for everybody. Donkey Face and Sean had a great video on trader psychology and what works for them. Now, the funny thing that I found was the same solution if I'm overconfident, same as if I lack confidence. So once I'm overconfident, I'm like, okay, I know I'm overconfident, and am I taking a bad trade? And a lot of times I am, because it's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Here's a little flag pattern. It's just doing this, it's doing that, and then jump right in here and trade it up to here and look for a breakout, etc. And it's just like, just on the fly, kind of flippant. I take the trade. And it's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about it. I'll just buy it again when maybe it comes down to the bottom of the range, etc. No. The same solution. What study your trade, your trade criteria. Is it objective? It's really odd to me, or funny. It's the same solution. Just take a step back, and how to overcome the overconfidence is by looking for your criteria, looking for that good trade, and being careful with it. All right, so anyway, maybe I'll end on that note. And for those of you, I guess one more thing I can add in there is reminiscence of a stock operator. It was really interesting how Jesse Livermore overcame some bad trades. He went bust, and a few different times, from boom to bust. He said, "Oh, now I need to wait. I've got like $15,000 as his bank. That's his trading capital. He just needs to wait for the right trade." And he knows what he's doing. He knocked it out of the park. And now he has some capital to do other things with. All right. So anyway, a little psychology, end the week here, and we'll take it from there. Thanks, everybody, and hope you enjoy the webinar. Please give a thumbs up there, and come over to the Discord channel. I think you'll find it a lot more engaging than you will over on YouTube. Let me just go through a quick round of questions here, and then we'll call it a day. All right, let's see. So Rob, you need to do more in replay mode. Absolutely, Rob. That replay mode is awesome. Watch the videos that we put together on replay mode. Here, it's on YouTube. I'll show you. And watch Robbed. There's trading tips and tricks here. But Robbed is excellent here. He's got his own system in there. Now, funny enough, he got it from Carmine. So watch these two. That'll be your basis here. And then we've got the other ones in here as well. Robert Rother, myself with Scott Pulcini, and then one day just me in here as well. So go back and replay this day, for example, in replay mode, and trade it. Okay? At the end of the day in here, trade it as well. And what trades did you take? What would you do differently? Then rewind it and play it, and then trade it again. You'll see your setups. You have to, And why to do it immediately that day, later that day, is because you have the context in here about so many other things that will be completely lost if you go like another week from now and then retrade it. You won't know. You won't know that you had PPI. You won't know that it's end of the week. You wouldn't know that it's European close. You might know that one, but that's about it. You wouldn't know there was CPI earlier. You wouldn't know the context of this crazy price action in here. Move up, move down, move right back up. It will all be lost, right? And that's in the back of your mind. Okay, so when you replay it the same day, you will already have that in your mind. Keep that in your notes, journal it, then come to that Bookmap Academy and keep it going in here. Yeah, thanks DNTs. You put the YouTube list webinar in there as well. All right, guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for coming. Wrap it up. Good week, everybody. We'll see you next week. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.